In this video, I just want to discuss about getting discouraged when you maybe are watching people that are more successful than you. Maybe they have more money, they have more skills, they seem to be maybe better looking than you. Like looking at celebrities, movies, social media. I don't know, I was watching a video the other day with Drake. I think it was a Nelk video. And he's on there. And he's got a bunch of beautiful ladies that he's going on a short date with. And in the end, it was quite touching. He actually buys the 3 contestants, gives them a bunch of money, and buys one of the girls a house for her mom. It's actually quite beautiful. Drake is also a Canadian, as am I. But that's besides the point. But when I saw this, I couldn't help but feeling a little bit discouraged in the moment. Because I'm thinking, who am I? Who am I compared to this guy? Look at him, he's got all the money, he's got all the fame, got all the fortune. But then it also, you have to remind yourself and realize too, when you're looking, first of all, don't compare yourself to anybody, but then as well, only compare yourself to yourself and how the progress that you're making and how well you did compared to the standards that you're setting for yourself, and how well are you living up to those standards? How consistent are you being with your commitments that you're making to yourself? And then if anything, look up to others as inspiration, because we're all just human beings. And understand too that you might be just starting out in your journey and you're looking at somebody that maybe has a decade plus living the life that they're living, already having the experience in that area that maybe you're looking to develop yourself in. And that's just a recipe for discouragement, for disappointment. You can't compare yourself to somebody else that's already a decade in on their journey. You might just be starting out on your journey, and it's your journey, and your journey can be fulfilling and meaningful for you, whatever that is. It doesn't need to be like an Elon Musk, or you don't have to have the money like an Elon Musk or a Mark Zuckerberg or one of these billionaires to live a life that is meaningful and fulfilling for you. Tony Robbins had a thought experiment once. I was listening to a book of his, and in that he goes, how much money do you want? And some people might say, I want $1 billion. But then if you were to sit down as an exercise and actually look at how much it would cost to live the life that you want to live, you might realize you only need to make $100,000. Maybe you only need to make $30,000. Maybe you just need to make $1 million. And so you might realize that to live the life that could be meaningful for you, whatever that is, may not be that unattainable. And in fact, you should be able to appreciate your life now for whatever it is. Have gratitude and appreciation for where you're at now, because the future isn't guaranteed. But then understand there is a finish line. Create an action plan. Create a vision for yourself and think about what it's going to take for you to achieve that goal, and actually plan it out, and then focus on process, habits, and routines, and then focus on being consistent in that and letting the results come as they will. Because ultimately you're not entitled to the result. You really only have the action itself. That's all you really are entitled to. There's no guarantees you're going to succeed. But can you be happy with just living your day the way that you're living it, knowing that the process that you've created for yourself is likely to bring the results that you want? And then just appreciating each and every day, appreciating the journey, understand that eventually you may accomplish that thing, but in some ways there is a finish line, but in other ways there is no finish line because you're never going to be satisfied. And then in other ways there is a finish line because you're going to be dead, or you're going to get so old where you just aren't, your priorities are going to change. So then it's about just enjoying each and every day for what it is. And I think that's important. You're looking at people, once again, just to illustrate or just to reiterate the point, is that you can't compare yourself to somebody else that's already been on their journey for a decade plus. But if you start working in a particular area and you're consistent in that, and you're putting in the practice and you're putting in the time, and you continue to look at what you're doing and optimizing and refining it, what it is that you're doing, who knows where you could take it. And yes, would it be better that you had more clarity and you knew exactly what you wanted and how you were going to work towards that 10 years ago? Of course, the earlier the better. But at least you figured it out now. And better you figured it out now than figuring it out a day from now, a year from now, 10 years from now. There's still time. It's never too late. And as well, it's just enjoying it for whatever it is. You get out there, you're going to the bars, going to the clubs, you're running around in the day, chatting up some cute ladies, pushing yourself, challenging yourself, overcoming internal barriers, success barriers, learning about yourself, continuing to grow, developing yourself, building skills, whatever you want. I mean, for me, money was never really a priority for me growing up. I got a lot of satisfaction with just learning skills. At first it was skateboarding, learning a new trick. That gave me such a great feeling. Or maybe you learn game. You realize you can get out there and you can just go up and chat up the girls that you want to talk to, that this is a skill, that this is something no different than anything else, that you can develop, and you can make a better life for yourself, not only with your relationships with women, but in any area of your life. If you want to better your financial situation, focus on your finances. But every area is an area in itself, and just because you're good at one area does not entitle you to success in other areas. Which means if you want to develop a certain area of your life, whether it's your finances, your relationships, your health, you have to put focused, deliberate, conscious practice and effort towards that area. And if you can do that, if you can sustain that and be consistent over a set period of time, whatever it takes, you will see results in that area. But understand that progress is slow, and that it's very slow, and the progress you make is very subtle, almost unrecognizable. But in 1 year, if you were to look back where you started, you take a progress photo, like you're going to the gym. Sometimes it's harder to see how to measure that progress you're making, but you will have made progress. But you got to stick to it, and you got to be willing to persevere even when it feels like you're not making progress. And you have to be happy with the day-to-day grind. But if you can take stock, if you can perceive and recognize the incremental development of your skills in whatever area that is, even if it's saving money, you put $1 in the bank. The next day, you have $1 in the bank. It seems small, but in 1 year, you have $365 in the bank. But it doesn't seem like much when you put in that first $1. But it's the same thing when you show up to the gym, when you show up and you enter the arena every single day. And as well, you are looking at what you did well, what you could do better, continuing to analyze and refine and optimize in every area of your life, because it's not just about showing up to the arena. It's not just showing up to the bar, to the club. It's what are you doing outside of the arena. It's what are you doing outside of the game that is just as important. As an analogy, when you show up to the gym, you might only be in the gym for 1 hour or 2 hours, but what are you doing for the other 22 hours of the day? Because your diet is just as important as getting into the gym. Just the same as what are you doing for your mental health? What are you doing for your financial health? What are you doing when nobody's watching? When you are the only one present? That's what really counts. Because what you do in the dark will be brought to the light. It will be shown. And it's not that you're trying to impress anybody else or do anything for anyone else. It's about your own satisfaction and your own quality of life, whatever you want that to be. Subscribe to my channel, like the video, hit me up, datingdestruction@gmail.com. Until next time, peace.